What is up, everybody? Josh here again, and today we have a Week 14 Icarus update video. We're going to show you what all was added in the update and describe a few things here and there and kind of give you the main pointers. So let's get into it, shall we? So, Icarus update, Week 14 Waterworks. This week we've added technology improvements to one of our core features, farming, including new water automation. So basically this week they've added an array of new technology improvements to one of their core features, the farming. The core principle of farming has been to provide a steady, self-sustaining food source for the harsher climates and to alleviate the time often invested into hunting. As we've fleshed this out, we've grown the scope for what it could become, and this week we're adding new technology such as water piping, which will allow for more automated solutions for watering crops, along with other applications like sprinkler systems to protect your structures from fire. You'll also see the addition of fertilizer and changes to the decaying mechanic for crops. To wrap up these changes for you, there's a new farming mission which incorporates all of these new features in its objectives. So with the water piping improvements, the water piping takes farming from a strictly manual process to one with automation capabilities. With this come 3 tiers of crop plots now: the standard wood, iron, and hydroponic. Iron and hydroponic plots add the option of water connections, providing improved growth rates for better efficiency in the late game and on more daring missions. In addition to water inputs, the hydroponics plot also takes power inputs to emulate the greenhouse buff, making it powerful and all-in-one unit. We've expanded the crop plot UI for this update, so check it out for more information on the plot's connection status and modifier states to ensure that the plot is set up to reap the full benefits. Water piping also offers other applications, one of the most helpful being the install sprinkler systems inside buildings for surprise fires caused by lightnings or careless prospectors. We're looking to add more applications for them in the future too, but this will give you a taste of how we plan to incorporate more automated industrial features into Icarus's gameplay, which is awesome. Farming is a great way for prospectors to ensure long-term survivability and accessibility to resources which may otherwise be out of reach on any given mission. There is a fairly steep investment in order to maximize the farm's output, as it can involve things like water and power networks, greenhouse buildings, fertilizer production, and more. There are also entry-level setups for the budding, pun intended, farmer. Adam, lead game designer. Now, the farming talent improvements. Alongside our new deployables and tiered crop plot system, we've added a range of new farming talents that incorporate these new systems, and I got a lot of them, guys. Ideal for players who want to specialize in being the provider for their team. You can see the full list of new and updated talents in the detailed changelog below. And the last thing we'll mention here on this is the farming mission, Agriculture Hydroponics. This week update comes with a new mission that introduces all these new features. Mission Agriculture Hydroponics requires you to set up an agricultural hub on the surface and grow a range of crops to be taken back up to the scientists on board the hub to test for any chemical differences to earth-grown variants. This will require a structured greenhouse setup with a proper water network, power supply, and fertilizer. And then we have the detailed changelog. Guys, usually what we'll do is we would sit there and kind of read this to you, like, for example, added new several variants. No, that's all boring. I'm going to go through this and I'm going to give you a visual representation only of what the most notable changes are on this log. So in your talents, if you go to talents and then survival, and on the right hand side, cooking and farming, you'll see several new talents. They have the all-nighter, which gives you a growth rate crops at night. They give you neat and tidy, which gives you less fertilizer use on your crop plots. Shoot the breeze, which grants you access to a recipe to make gunpowder from fertilizer on the mortar and pestle. Get up and go, which increases your base stamina. Get off my lawn, which grants the recipe to make the rusty shotgun on the machining bench, which we'll show you here in a little bit. Speed grow, and this one gives you crafted crop plot grows crops faster. We got bumper crop, which crafted crop plots yield more crops. Gathering Guru, which increases yield from harvesting by hand. They also updated the freshest best talent, so basically your crops will not wither away once they finish growing. And you also have sturdy stalks, and that's crafted crop plots. Crops spoil slower when harvested. So that's all the new talents that they added. If you look in the top left corner, whenever, or over here on the right hand side near the device inventory, you'll see a connection requiring some water. Basically, they now have modifiers, so if you have water hooked up to your biofuel composter, the composter will actually work much faster. This goes for any kind of composter. They added this to the composters, the cementing bench, and of course, the kitchen bench as well. So what this basically means is that if you do not have water connected to one of these items they added that to, crafting items will be slower. So it's faster if water's hooked up to it, slower if it's not. Also, as mentioned earlier, they've added a new sprinkler system to the game. What this means is basically if you set your house on fire, what will happen is that the sprinkler system will engage. After a little while, it'll stop, ready for you to burn your house down again. Keep in mind though, you have to have a water pump connected to electricity and piped for your sprinkler system to work. Also, you'll notice that they've added a UI for hydroponics. This is a hydroponic plant bed. It requires water and electricity to run. As you can see, it's also now requiring an actual greenhouse, or at least partially cover until you see 50% for the greenhouse to work now. So they've kind of fixed that. I can confirm that one glass beam no longer works. In the iron crop plot, you have only the water requirement, which you can hook up the iron straight to a water pipe. Same thing with the hydroponics, of course. With the regular crop plot, the only way to water that is to take your canteen on your bar, select it, and then hit right-click to water the farming plot. It uses 500 water every time you do so. Also to mention, the iron crop plot has a much higher durability than the standard crop plot and can be connected to water. Next up we have the wood composter. This is where you create your fertilizer from. Any plants you put in this composter will decay at an accelerated rate. It takes 10 spoiled plants to make one basic fertilizer. You can then, with the talents in the tier 4 tree, take the regular fertilizer and silica to make growth fertilizer, which gives you a speed increase of 50% at a negative 25% yield, or make a high quality fertilizer, which increases the yields of your crops by 50%, but is 25% slower, and it requires sulfur in basic fertilizer. These are both made in the chemistry bench. And this is what they look like. And of course, all you have to do is take your fertilizer and put it in the fertilizer slot. You can also see that all items you grow now will have a star next to them in the icon. And it says, grown by Prospector. When the crop plot is watered, the crop is watered and it will receive a bonus, which I assume is extra item or extra crops. And then also you can get the plus 50% growth rate speed with the greenhouse modifier, as well as fertilizer, which you can either increase its yield or its speed. Whenever plants spoil now, you get spoiled plants. Like we said, use 10 of those to make one fertilizer. Some items now look different in different growth stages when they're in the crop plots. On face value, the pumpkin doesn't have any kind of difference that I can tell from the grown and the gathered variant. But they did say they're adding a new stat for grown crops, which differs them from harvested ones. As stated before, there's an agriculture hydroponic mission now available.
The ACS have big plans for Icarus.
It rewards you 250 Ren. This is what spoiled plants look like. Well, at least my beans. And you can see I can get spoiled plants back. Plants now have a growing, a withering, and a spoiled stage. This is what spoiled look like. So there's multiple stages to crops now that you now have to clear with X. If you get the talent Fresh is Best, where created crop plots will not wither, this does not count for any crop plot you have placed before. You have to remake the crop plots. As you see, this one has a star next to it, which means that my planted crops won't wither, but this one does not. So that's only for people who go into the talent Fresh is Best. Soybeans now spoil like any other crop. They now have a spoil timer, but you can put them in the refrigerator where they will not spoil. Let's test the strength of the sprinkler while I tell you a few other things. They fixed a ton of crashes this time. We now have 15 slots on our dropship. Players in offline mode can now sell exotics for currency. They increase platinum and titanium spear throw projectile damage. Lucky Strike now no longer harvests a whole entire mouth entrance of a cave. They fixed an issue where shotgun sights were not correctly aligned. Added more caves to the lower right Arctic area of Olympus. You can now do Fahrenheit in the temperature display. As you can see here, you go to game, go to gameplay, choose Celsius or Fahrenheit. Oh, how'd that happen? They improved the felling sound of burnt trees. There was multiple fixes to the map, including holes in the earth, etc. Fixed the elephant boss to be aggressive when people go out of range. They improved the sound of when a player levels up. They also improved the layout of the solo player tree. They improved the audio of metal pickaxes. This is too fun. There should now be an audio sound for Wolf swimming. Also, just to let you know, sprinklers don't work to help watering plants, so don't use them like that. Let me show you the rusty shotgun. This is what mats it takes to make. 15 wood, 10 leather, 10 steel, and 10 tree sap. And it says a crude shotgun hastily pulled together. Currently, the only difference between the rusty shotgun and the actual shotgun is the rusty shotgun has a lower rate of fire and a lower ammo capacity. It only can hold 4, where the shotgun holds 8. We're going to fire 3 rounds into this structure here and see how fast it fires. Four rounds, sure. Where the rusty shotgun is this fast. And that's what the rusty shotgun looks like. If you ever played survival games, it looks like a basic pipe weapon. Ah! Don't forget to check in the description down below for a full list of patch notes. And that's it, guys. That's all for this time. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Peace.